Hello there. Top of the morning, the afternoon, and the evening to you, whomever you may be, wherever you may be watching, looking, or listening. It's your boy Anthony Moore. Ant Mo, for those of you who may know for sure, and welcome to the network. Welcome to the Mind of a Man Network. We pray that you stick and you stay. And for those of you who are first time listeners, you come on back round now. You hear? You show them boys how you do it up in Harlem, there, boy. And if you are one of my faithful few, a part of the Brain Trust, I love you from the bottom of my corazon. So with that being said, welcome to the network. But more importantly for tonight, welcome to You Gonna Get These Sports, bruh. You feel me? And tonight we're talking Cowboys. We're talking a little bit of Nico Harrison. And we got to start the show off right, man, by addressing something that happened last week. And this is just so we can bring awareness to certain things and invite you guys to something that I think can help be a part of the solution. So, with that being said, for those of you who may know, and if you do not know, one of the Cowboys recently drafted defensive lineman, Marshawn Nealon, took his life last week, tragically. We don't say that to be attention grabbers or to overdo something so serious as somebody deciding that their presence on this earth was no longer important. But we do want to bring awareness to a few things, and that is that for the month of November, this is Men's Mental Health Month. And so, first of all, fellas, I want you to understand that number one, you are important. Number two, you absolutely belong here. There's somebody, if it's just me, that cares if you live or you die. Let's not play around with our mental health any longer. Let's make sure that we are doing everything we can to check on the people around us to make sure they are well. If spirituality is something that you're actually into, then let's lean into our relationship with God a little bit more. And if that is not your route, I pray that it does become, because there are things that we fight and battle that are very much present and very much real that we cannot see. And so for that, with that being said, I want to invite everybody out to my event that I am having this Sunday, November 16th, 5:45 p.m. If you are in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, it will be at the Vault, which is a cigar. They have a cigar lounge in there. It is a seafood and steakhouse. And we have a spot in the back where we meet and we just have a good conversation. It's the Mind of a Man think tank, 501c3, newly acquired nonprofit organization dedicated to helping men. And so I want to invite everybody, all the men by birth certificate, out so we can talk, man, have community, have fellowship, accountability, encouragement, all of those things, man. And we want to have the tough conversations that people aren't having. And we want to build the right community that can cultivate men in the right way to be better husbands, to be better fathers, to ultimately be better men. And so with that being said, we say rest in peace to Marshawn Nealon. We have prayers and thoughts that truly go out to your family. And we pray that this would be a month, if like none other, as we are going into the holiday season, where people pay attention to what is going on and we don't take for granted the lives of people that, are getting lost for senseless things. So with that being said, man, I appreciate everybody for giving me that bit of time on my soapbox to talk about men's mental health. And with that being said, first of all, I want y'all to tap in the comments for me. Let me know who we got here. Thank you for everybody who is tuning in thus far. This is not AI, my brother. He said, is this AI or not? No, this is not AI. But I do appreciate everybody for tuning in. I don't know why he thinks this is AI. Can y'all see both the vertical angles, or is that just me? Because otherwise I could take the vertical. Yeah, we're going to get rid of that vertical broadcast because I don't know if that's what that was. But anyway, so let me tap in with the comments really quick, and then we will get into Nico Harrison's firing from the Dallas Cowboys, from the Dallas Mavericks. So first of all, we got LaShonda Reese in the building. She said, "Hey, what's going on?" And then I apologize, Marty Aderas. You said, "Hey," and then Ali Martinez said, "Is this AI or not?" I still don't know why you said that. And then we have Ms. Reed saying the vault is pretty nice. I agree. She said, unfortunate, so unfortunate. Condolences to his family and friends. Absolutely. Sophia said, God is good all the time. And all the time, God is good. Amen. And then we have the camera look crisp. So that's why. Laugh out loud. Hey, that's cool. I take it. I take it 1,000 times. So then Shira Cabri said, what's this show about? So this is a network, and this show is about the Dallas Cowboys, the recent acquiring of Quinnen Williams, Logan Wilson. We also will be talking about Nico Harrison being fired from the Dallas Mavericks. So with that being said, I want you guys to also hop in the comments and tell me what are y'all thinking about the remainder of the Dallas Cowboys schedule and season. Because I have some bold takes that aren't homerism. They are based off of fact and merit here. Now, here at The Mind of a Man. So this show is sports. Let me clear this up for you really quickly because you are on here asking questions. I appreciate that. And I think that's Shirai. Please correct me if I'm telling that wrong. But this show tonight is about sports. But on this platform, this is a network. And so on the network, we talk about sports. This is one of the shows. We have interviews. So this is also an interview platform. Look, I don't want to get lost. We have the Late Night Shift Live, where it is your typical late night show where we talk about different things. And then we also, so Late Night Shift Live, we have Cultivating Conversations, which is the interview platform. You're going to get these sports. That is the sports platform. We have Church Flow, where we talk about things in the body, what must be said for the betterment of the body. And then the last platform that we have on this actual network is the Mind of a Man podcast. And that is where we talk about basically how to be better men, how to show up for the families better, accountability conversations, different things like that. So if any of those things interest you, I encourage you to like, and if not, pass it on to a fellow man or brother that might be interested in the platform, because we do aim to put out quality content for all those people. So my sister says, so sports. So this is one of the things that we talk about for sure tonight. And then Sophia said, I like your style. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. And then she said, I will watch this live. Thank you. I appreciate y'all. Y'all making me feel good in the bottom of my corazon tonight. You feel me? And then she said, nice, I subscribe. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? So please hit that like for all of you who are watching. All that does is get more people in here who want to talk about what we talking about. You feel me? And I would appreciate that. And then always subscribe. We're trying to get to that full monetization. So with that being said, for those of you who may not know, your Dallas Mavericks traded Luka Doncic last year, and it was Nico Harrison who they say pulled the trigger. Now, I'll be honest with you. I cannot believe, with everything in me, I just can't believe that Nico Harrison, a black man that has the ability to be a GM in the NBA in these here United States, would have the guts, the gall, the balls, the chutzpah to trade away what we truly know and believe to be a generational talent like the Luka Doncic, a guy who wanted to be here, who was a liability on defense for sure, not arguing that, but a generational talent offensively, if nothing else. For those of you who may not know, he is absolutely dropping 40 points a game. He's averaging 40 right now. And in today's NBA, some people would think that is no big deal, Bill. But 40 is 40. And it's early in the season. Luka is known for coming into the season not being in the best of shape. He kind of has to rev up, and then injuries at some point, whether it's a calf or not a hamstring, a calf or ankle, can typically derail him. But for some reason, you become a Laker and now you cooking like grandma's chicken. You know what I'm saying? And so it's interesting, if nothing else, but you cannot get me to believe that he can have no facial expression, no nothing, and trade a guy like that, right? Trade away Luka for Anthony Davis, who has what has he only played, like 3 games or something like that? He's already hurt again. And then there's a report that is saying that Anthony Davis will only play when the owner says it's okay. So that leads me to believe that there could be some trading getting ready to happen. For those of you who may not know, Jason Kidd was rumored to wanting to possibly go interview with the New York Knicks at one point. I don't know. What do y'all think? Are y'all people? Are there some people on here who actually partake in the sports? And what do you think about the Nico situation thus far? Because I think the fix is in. I truly believe Luka been holding back. You may be on to something with that. I don't know. I don't think so. I think he is a professional, but I think he's on a mission now, is what it is. I think that Luka believes he has something to prove to the Dallas Mavericks and to even himself. You know, He's now playing with his idol. Okay, Dirk was his guy. How you doing, Miss Michaela? Miss Michaela Tracy. But he's playing with his idol. In LeBron James. That was the guy who he looked up to and has loved. He's made no bones about that. But it's his team now. They're not looking to extend LeBron, or if they do, it's on a 1-year contract, 2 max. They're looking to move forward and build around Luka at this point. But getting back on to Nico. So in him being fired, they didn't say, because you got to think this ownership, the Dumont or DuPont family, whoever, they don't have any familiarity with basketball. All right. It's casino money and all of that, right? Having ties to Las Vegas. And so there was the rumblings that they were looking to move the team to Las Vegas. And what is the best way to be able to move the team to Las Vegas? By having a fire sale. You get rid of Kyrie, you get rid of AD, you get rid of Luka, which it's seeming like that's kind of can be true, with the exceptions of there's no need to move the team. You know, you could easily get a team there without having to move the Mavericks, right? But their ties are to Las Vegas. I personally believe that no matter what you think about Nico Harrison, there's no way that guy would pull that trigger on that trade, even if he didn't like Luka. I couldn't see him pulling the trigger on that trade without the backing of ownership. That's why I'm saying in 2025 that guy would get that much gusto about himself to believe that he could pull the trigger on a trade like that, where you only get Anthony Davis back. And I think the guy Christie, that was a bench player or something like that. That's not enough. Okay. And then of course, the Mavericks win the lottery. We get Cooper Flag, which I like the young pup. I'm excited to see what he's able to turn into, especially if you can get Kyrie back healthy, somehow get Anthony Davis back healthy. If nobody gets traded, I don't know, man. But right now it's looking like the Mavericks absolutely lost that. Now, for those of you wondering about what happened to Mark Cuban, he sold his majority stake in the team. He owns now 25%. So some would say that he didn't have the stomach to go through all those operations anymore. The buying, the trading, he wasn't going to be able to afford to pay Luka, different things like that. But you also don't want to be known as the guy who traded Luka, especially after you use Dirk as one of the main reasons why Luka, this should have been the place where Luka came to call home. So I don't know, man. I personally don't think, if Luka never wins a championship, I don't care if he gets to another finals. If he doesn't win a championship, I don't think it really matters about this trade, personally, in my opinion, right? And you can believe what you want to believe. You can be mad. You can say, fire Nico, he's gone. But that's even greater reason why I believe that this didn't have anything to do with how good or bad he was as a general manager, right? He had success with Nike. Right? Everybody wants to bring up that he fumbled the bag with Steph Curry, and then Steph Curry goes to Under Armour and the rest is history. I believe a lot of that stuff goes the way it's supposed to go. And it just is what it is. But, it was said that he was a humongous Kobe guy, right? He was around for the Kobe years, right? And he saw that approach to basketball and the mentality and the execution, and he didn't see that from Luka. Still not enough to trade that guy because the NBA is nothing like what it was when Kobe Bryant in his heyday was doing what he was doing on the basketball court. So that's highly it's sketchy for me to believe that that had everything to do with why Luka ends up playing for one of the greater franchises of 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 a century, you know. Um I don't know, man. You know, I wish. Do I have any basketball fans on here that because I also believe that the fix was in personally because I'm like, how do the Mavericks, who had like less than a 10% chance or something like that of getting the number one pick at the number 10 position, which I believe they were, and you end up with the number one pick. Come on, bro. It doesn't happen. It literally doesn't happen. If you're not one of the like top three teams, it just doesn't happen. But we're so lucky to get Cooper Flag. You can't convince me that the NFL, that the NBA didn't say, okay, we get Luka over, Luka goes to the Lakers. We understand we pair him with LeBron. It's highway robbery, of course, but you get the number one pick. If you don't think that in any sport in the world, they can't make it work the way they want to make it work to get what they want to get out of a trade or out of a draft or something like that with the balls, because they do lottery balls with the NBA. You can't. When I seen it in the Mavericks won, even Cooper was like, okay, I'm going to the Mavericks. Okay. Yeah, all right, bro. You know what I'm saying? So once again, in my humble opinion, I just don't believe that Nico Harrison had enough pull to make a trade like that. And the only reason that he ends up getting fired is because of the angst of the fans. Listen, I get it. If fans don't show up to games, you don't make money, right? Maybe you make some off TV deals or something like that, but you are depending on players. You're depending on fans showing up to that stadium to buy alcohol and food and merchandise and buying season tickets to be able to make money. That's just the way that this goes. And you're telling me that they still matter enough to be able to fire your general manager? It just doesn't make sense. It seems like he became the fall guy for guys who didn't know anything about basketball. The DuPonts or Dumonts, whatever their name is, they don't know enough about basketball to know that it is worth. This is how, number one, this is how basketball goes, right? Your star players, even more than football, your star players get paid. Period. LeBron James is going to make $70 million if that's what he's supposed to get paid, right? Now, the pockets may be deeper in the NBA, but you pay Luka. You hope that it works out. You hope that it works out, but you pay Luka. That's just that simple. So to move on, Nico Harrison gets fired from the Dallas Mavericks yesterday as the GM. I don't believe that he did this by himself. I believe that management above him was fully aware of it. They were cool with him pulling the trigger, and it just that he becomes the fall guy because that's the way it goes. Somebody has to bite the bullet, and he became the guy who had to bite that bullet. So, with that being said, we move on and we talk about your Dallas Cowboys, your America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. I get it. I get it. I get it. For those of you who may not be Cowboys fans, you may have been like one of my cousins who became a San Francisco 49ers fan because he just couldn't stand the fanfare that the Dallas Cowboys got in their heyday so much that he went to our arch rival. That's some real deal hate right there. He also was a gang member that was a blood. So he probably didn't want to root for the blue either. That's a whole nother situation. But as we look at your Dallas Cowboys, right? The question is, what do you see happening with the rest of this season? All right, coming out of the bye. And for those of you who don't know, the Dallas Cowboys just made a trade. They traded a 7th rounder to get Logan Wilson, who was a linebacker from your Cincinnati Bengals, right? And he had pretty much been benched, and they were deciding to move forward with their younger players. That doesn't mean much to me because he's still, as the guy getting benched over there in Cincinnati, who had a worse defense than we did. They were overall a worse defense than your Dallas Cowboys prior to the trades and the players being healthy. They stunk up the joint. But they were able to get a 7th rounder out of the Cowboys for Logan Wilson, who looks to be, and from all accounts, I've not heard anybody say anything different. He was and possibly is the best linebacker on this roster. Also, we have Demario Overshown coming back. 3rd round draft pick out of Texas, a flat out baller. But you talk about 2 years in a row having a knee injury, tearing his knee up. He supposedly has a titanium knee now, so he will be able to stay healthy from that regard. Earlier in the week of him returning on that 21-day window coming off of the IR, he had a dislocated finger. They said no big deal, so he's ready to go. You have Darren Ravel, highly touted cornerback. Brian Broaddus says was one of the, if not the best corner coming out of the draft, but also had a knee injury that he's recovering from out of East Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. Eastern Carolina. Correct me on that if I'm wrong. But he has high hopes. There is a lot of hope that he will be able to step in, because for those of us who have been watching your Dallas Cowboys, DaRon Bland is not looking like the $90 million man. I don't know if he's supposed to be better in zone. I don't know if he's supposed to be better in man. I don't know, but it's not working out. Us being able to for Diggs, for Trayvon Diggs, and for DaRon Bland, it seems like we're able to amass all these pick sixes and just picks in general against these teams where they aren't that good in the first place. And that's not really doing us any good. We need guys who are going to perform and perform when it matters. And so the guy that I haven't talked about that is supposed to be looking like the savior of the defense, and that is your Quinnen Williams. Drafted by your New York Football Jets. He's just been the best run-stopping defensive tackle in the NFL, and it's not even close. When you talk about being able to get pressure on the quarterback, get sacks, stop the run, he is a Swiss Army knife of sorts in the middle of the field. He is a wrecking ball. One person can't stop him. 2 people can't stop him if he wants to do what he has to do. They better be 2 Larry Allens if they're going to stop Quinnen Williams from being able to shed blocks, make tackles, be disruptive in the backfield. The guy is simply phenomenal. And so I would love to know what my audience, what they think about this thus far. How are we feeling about the Cowboys going into this Oakland Raiders game? Las Vegas Raiders game. I'm going to be honest. It is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Why? Because just like with Micah, even though, and please forgive me, I'm not comparing Quinnen Williams to Micah Parsons, 2 totally different players. And people who are telling me that Micah Parsons is better than Quinnen Williams, I really take it as disrespect, because Micah Parsons can't stop the run at all. You run right at him. Just run at him. He's not shown that he's got the cakes on him to stop the run. That's number 1. Number 2, this guy can actually still rush the passer. If we look at Micah Parsons' stats, and I get it for those people who say, listen, the trade happened, it's over with, let's move on. We still have to keep these things in context, because now we're going to judge the totality of everything that the Dallas Cowboys have done to say, does this equal being able to trade away what some people believe is a generational talent? I'm not going that far. We're going to have to look at what you do in the playoffs. We're going to have to look at what you do against playoff teams consistently before I try to talk about you being a generational talent, the second coming of Lawrence Taylor. All these things that we bloviated about that didn't turn out to be true about Michael Parsons. It's not hate, it's realism, it's reality. The guy is okay. He's cool. He's a flash in the pan guy on your edge. But if you tell me that I'm going to get Kenny Clark and Quinnen Williams, and then I'm going to get Logan Wilson to man that middle with DeMario Overshown on the weak side linebacker, and then we bump Deron Bland on the inside. I'm not imagining that Trevon Diggs is going to play another down for your Dallas Cowboys. So then we're going to go throw Darren Ravel out there at corner. I get it. He's not played a down yet, but it's not hard to be better than what we've put out there so far. That's what we got to be real about. Corner, Bridges, you want that guy back out there, Bridges? And then you have Carson on the other side. So Ravel and Carson with Bland in the slot, I think, and then Shamar James on strong side linebacker. Azaraku on the end, Clowney on the other end. Let's just see what this defense actually looks like. Can we actually get excited about what? Because it's not going to take much. It's not going to take much for your Dallas Cowboys to be better. What's up, my guy? Connor Vanderit. What's this live about? So we started off by talking about the unfortunate passing of Marshawn Nealon of your Dallas Cowboys. Then we talked about the firing of Nico Harrison and how it was due to the angst of the fans. That's garbage. We not rolling with that. And now we are talking about your Dallas Cowboys. Yes, sir. We are talking football. I see. Hey, look, y'all beat my Longhorns. I'm first of all, y'all stay with me. If you're on here, we talking Cowboys. Let me deal with Connor real quick. You beat my Longhorns, dog. You know what I'm saying? And I'm disappointed, but we're gonna see. You know, we got Georgia coming up. We got Georgia coming up. We got Texas A&M. We're going to see what Arch is about. You know what I'm saying? We're going to see if he's actually learned something. I don't want to talk about my Steelers. Yeah. See, this is where I feel sweet justice. Because I got a buddy of mine, and he's a huge Steelers fan, right? And, we got Aaron Rodgers. And he looks like Benjamin Buttons now. So that's cool. You got me with the Longhorns first game of the season. Y'all did what y'all did. But, you know, I don't know, man. Now, this is what I will say about your Steelers, and we'll get back to Cowboys, and you can chime in whatever you want to talk about. We definitely getting into it. But I trust in your coach. He's never had a losing season. He knows how to rally men. You're gonna have to find a way to run the ball a little more efficiently and find those tight ends, because he's not getting the ball to my number one. Well, he's not my number one receiver. I just traded for Puka Nacua, even though it's not gonna matter. But he's not getting the ball to number 4 over there. And that dude just runs like a 4.3 and has blazing speed, and is a great possession guy. But we don't use him the way that we should. So y'all don't use him the way that he should, but it is what it is. My Buckeyes going to win it all, though. We also going to beat Michigan. Here's the thing. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. I think you got to be careful. Y'all are looking strong. I will say this, and people have to realize this. Last year, Ohio State was the best football team that money could buy. Nobody allocated more money to the NIL than Ohio State last year. So that's why your coach was possibly about to get fired at one point before he actually found his groove, because there's too much money allocated to y'all winning. You're seeing what Texas Tech is looking like. They caught their loss a little, some weeks ago, but they're looking pretty strong. Talk about $25 million allocated to the NIL. So we'll see. Y'all are looking pretty good. Your quarterback's still a little, but we'll see. And he said, I love Mike Tomlin. Well, we got to learn how to score in the red zone. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You got DK Metcalf. Use him. That's number 4 for those of you who don't know for Pittsburgh Steelers. You got DK Metcalf. You want to try just throwing a jump ball to him? He's just one of the most physically imposing wide receivers in the NFL. That's all I'm saying. But the problem is not, even though the problem is the red zone, it's how you move the ball down the field. They're not known for great passing plays and stuff. The offense is very mundane. It's like y'all think y'all got Jerome Bettis back there still or something. But all right, he said, I miss Urban Meyer. Listen, Urban Meyer is every bit of a scumbag. We don't have to get into it, but that guy's a scumbag. Not a good person, like just not. So anyway, I'll check your comments out. We do have super chats as well, so I do have to stay with the show just in case if anybody does want to contribute to super chat, super stickers, all those things, you absolutely can. And that just is what it is. So I see we have a Commanders fan in here. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. But we have Quinnen Williams, we have Kenny Clark, we have Donovan Ezaraku, and we have Jadeveon Clowney. That is going to be a formidable defensive line. For those of you who know football, he just brought up Dayball. We know what won for your New York Football Giants in 07 and 09. It was a hellacious pass rush defense. You had Osi Umenyiora. You had, I don't know. I don't remember all those guys' names, but they were great. Whatever. The guy who blew his hand off, playing with fireworks. They had a lot going on over there, but they had a great defensive rush. One of the best. And you had Eli Manning throwing ducks up, throwing prayers in the sky to win. So for my Dallas Cowboys, I'm hoping that we can start building on what, because they actually got a pass rush the last game, but Dak Prescott, you started to let us down again, my brother. You started to let us down yet again. Okay. And I get it. If the pass rush is getting to Dak soon enough and the pressure's coming up the middle in a quarterback's face, we have to look no further than Tom Brady to see. Tom Brady was least effective when they were coming directly in his line of vision as a quarterback. And so, it is what it is. But I will say I am absolutely looking forward to the second half of this season to see what my Cowboys are going to do. I do have a prediction on what I believe the final record is going to be. So y'all tell me, for those of you who are Cowboys fans, if we basically have 8 games left. Some people are saying that 7-1 is going to make you formidable to be able to make the playoffs. 6-2 makes you above 500, and of course 8-0, you probably get a good chance of winning a division unless the Eagles don't lose another game from here. And I'm not saying that. I'm just throwing it out there. Y'all tell me what y'all believe in the comments. So let's see. We got some other comments here. Let me see. Connor said Calvin Austin forgot he has hands. All we have is DK. Well, that's not proving anything as far as the execution is my point, though, because I have him in fantasy. He's just been a humongous letdown. Early in the season, y'all were finding him in the red zone, and he was executing. Not to mention, he took 180 yards this year on a slant. Aaron Rodgers might be turning back into a pumpkin, and that should be concerning for all parties involved. Dayball better come to the Commanders. Why would you want Brian Dayball? And that's a serious question. Tell me something that warrants wanting Brian Dayball. Because the first year he got there, they made the playoffs. I'll give him that. But that, to me, that's no different than a first-year quarterback, right? That's Jaden Daniels. That's any quarterback. If they can come in and they cater an offense around what they do well, whether it's running, whether it's, I don't care if it's 3 yards in a cloud of dust, wishbone offense. If you can cater what a quarterback does in the NFL his first couple years, that is your greatest chance for them to see if they can be successful. I don't see Dayball didn't do anything with Danny Dimes after like that first year. They just went downhill. Then, not to mention, he gave up 30 in Denver this year. The game on Sunday that they lost to the Jaguars, they had the lead. They gave up a lead. Why do you want Brian Daboll? He's not a good coach. He's literally not a good coach. So I ask again, why would you want him to come to the Commanders? I subbed, but I don't have any money to donate. Oh, hey, I appreciate you, my brother. Hey, listen, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate you for subbing, bro. I offer that because I know sometimes people want their comments to get skipped to the top and all that stuff. We do appreciate the love and all that. Don't feel no pressure to give. We not a bootleg church. I'm a believer, but we ain't no bootleg church. Now you give when you can, but thank you for the sub, man. And we talk a bunch of different things on this platform that I really hope are quality content. So no, don't sweat that, my brother. I thank you for everything you're doing, for supporting. All right, my boy, what's his name? Kahneman Steezy Apprentice. I don't know how to say that, my brother. I'm a fan of Commanders, not a delusional one. I really love that Lattimore for picks trade made me super happy. Yeah, for sure. And he's not looking too hot anyway. Yeah, so here's the thing with cornerbacks, and I think you'll agree with me or understand where I'm coming from. Cornerbacks, you need a lot of confidence, but it borders on delusion when you're not executing. i.e., he talks. He's a talker, right? But when George Pickens of your Dallas Cowboys is 6'7", and he's roasting him on the field and he's steady talking, at some point, get back to the huddle, bro. Let's get back to the drawing board because you're getting roasted out here. So I need my corners confident, but I need them also making plays. And if you're not going to do that, then you're just arrogant at that point. You're just cocky. You're cocky and you're not good. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I definitely can dig that, but he's not been performing. I don't think the Cowboys are going to be able to get it together all the way. So I will break this down in a second here. And I want to make sure that I pull up their schedule so I can tell you what I actually do believe about what I see for their schedule the remaining way. I will be honest, though. There are some things that do concern me about certain matchups, right? Because I traded away. Okay, hold on. We got some comments here. Look, hold on. Let me involve my people because I definitely need y'all riding with the boy. You feel me? Let me see what y'all talking about. He said, honestly, for draft choices and intensity, he got my respect. No, I mean, that's cool. I can dig it. No, I can dig it. You know what I'm saying? I can dig it. I ain't mad at it. You know? I mean, but what is intensity if you get roasted for 40? You know what I'm saying? If you don't even have tackles in the game, like that's where I think we got to kind of change the way that we measure what we're looking at. Hayden Sprague said, hi, what's going on? Do you think the Titans are going to the Super Bowl? Absolutely not. That's easy. Give me something hard because the Titans, are you being funny or are you being serious? Because they are definitely not going to the playoffs. or they're not going to the playoffs, let alone the Super Bowl. But here's the thing, though, and I'm assuming that you're a Titans fan. How do you feel about your quarterback thus far? Because we haven't seen Shedeur Sanders play football this year in an actual game. I wouldn't imagine that he would have looked any worse than what we've seen from Cam Ward. Cam Ward is not looking like I've seen him make a few good throws. Hear my heart on this. I've seen him make a few good throws, but he's not looking that spectacular, man. He's not showing you these flashes of brilliance that people would lead us to believe that he would be showing us at this standing of the season. Who winning the Super Bowl? So Chill Guy 264, who winning the Super Bowl? So here's what I will say before I give you my answer. here at You Gonna Get These Sports, and this is a network here, so I have multiple shows here, but tonight we talking sports. Here's what I will say. I am a realist. I am hopeful that the Cowboys, because of how they are getting healthy and the trades that they made, that the defense, because if the defense is just middle of the road or better, or middle of the road, I'll say even like 17, 18, if the offense can produce like they were early in the season, the Cowboys will have a great shot to make a push for the playoffs. That ain't my answer. I'm not saying the Cowboys will win the Super Bowl. Man, I got to be honest with you. Your Philadelphia Eagles, they find a way to win. Jalen Hurts has not thrown for 200 yards multiple times this season, but they're such a complete team. And I hate the Eagles, but Howie Roseman is a wizard at playing general manager in the NFL, man. I cannot hate on this guy. I cannot hate on that franchise. Gilly the King, or whatever his name is that he goes by these days, I can't even say nothing, bruh, because they find a way to win. Saquon is not having the season that he had a year ago, but they won a Super Bowl last year, bro, and they are the number 1 seed now and looking just as formidable. I had hope on the AFC side that the Buffalo Bills were going to put it together. I am one that doesn't believe that the Chiefs are the favorite either. I think, and people don't want to say it, but you got to start looking at your Denver Broncos, depending on how that home field advantage plays, to have a great chance to go upset a few teams in the playoffs if they get the opportunity. And your New England Patriots. I mean, you are what your record says you are. Shout out to Big Tuna, Bill Parcells. So if I had to pick 2 teams, I would say Detroit and your Eagles have a showdown, possibly to go to the Super Bowl, and Drake May and the New England Patriots, with Stephon Diggs being a top receiver over there, mixed with, I mean, we're not going to talk about how Josh McDaniels has once again found a way to cater a beautiful offense to a young QB. It's impeccable. So I think you got your Patriots, you got the Denver Broncos. These guys they're looking formidable, man. But I think that Detroit has the firepower to beat your Philadelphia Eagles. But can they stop the run? Because that freaking tush push crap is just, it's crazy good, man. So you're going to have to show up on all facets of the game to be able to give yourself a real opportunity to beat the Eagles at the Link, or whatever the name of that godforsaken stadium is. But I mean, your Patriots could be priming themselves to make another run. I'm not putting the cart before the horse. I'm not saying that they're a dynasty. I'm saying they're putting themselves in position to be formidable. They have a young quarterback. They have a great coach that knows the Patriot way. They have a lot at their disposal. So we'll see. But if you make me pick, I'll say, why wouldn't the Eagles repeat? That's what I would say. So then we have Connor says Dak Prescott throws perfect dimes to the defense, and George Pickens, to whom I miss so much as a Steeler, is mid. Dak isn't even like that. I'll say this. I get it. It's a joke to it, but it's also some truth, right? Dak is not as bad as he's been in recent years with the woes that he would have at turnovers and things like that. Dak was like leading the league in like fumbles and stuff like that, for sure. He's not that bad. The problem is we got a couple of liabilities on that offensive line. Terrence Steele is terrible. And then Tyler Smith has been hurt. So you're bringing pressure from the most protected parts of each side of the football. The blind side is not healthy, and Terrence Steele is just a shell of whatever we hoped he would be. And so that's putting a lot of pressure on Dak. And I hate that I'm having to be a Dak Prescott apologist, because I like to just keep it a bean. but he's not the reason we've been losing. I would say this last game is probably the most like you didn't show up game. You know what I'm saying? So I can feel you though. And then my man Conum, I wish you would spell that out for me. Cowboys are a sleeper. I think if they hit the playoffs, they're making Super Bowl. When they play for keeps, it's hard to beat them. So that's saying a lot coming from a Commanders fan, number one. Number two, I agree, and I think I seen somebody disagree with you right here, but I agree only because of this. The Cowboys have like less than a 7% chance or something of making the playoffs. So for them to do whatever they would need to do to make the playoffs, sorry, I had to do it. I kind of agree. This would be because you got to think. Let's look at the schedule right now since we're here. Let's look at the schedule. I see your comments are there, so please be patient with me, right? So we clearly know that loss to the freaking Arizona Cardinals with Jacoby Brissett. Hold on, y'all. Let me get these sounds together because we gotta express the disdain for what we've just experienced from your Dallas Cowboys playing against those. That's what they did against Jacoby Brissett in the Arizona Cardinals. That right there. Thank you, Cowboys. That is the worst potential back-breaking loss for your Dallas Cowboys, right? But we have your Oakland Raiders. We're just gonna call them Oakland Raiders. I don't care. But we have your Oakland Raiders, right? Your Oakland Raiders coming on Monday Night Football. Here's my concern. They have two players that I would have loved to have. I traded away Ashton Jeanty because he wasn't producing, and it is what it is. Do not freaking Ashton Jeanty. Do not. He's a Frisco kid too, so he's from Dallas. He's from the Metroplex or whatever. Do not have a 40-point fantasy performance against us on Monday Night Football. Do not do this to me. Max Crosby. Don't be all in the backfield disrupting Rain Dakota Prescott while he's trying to make his money. I don't appreciate it. Okay? I need y'all to come in here, lay an egg. Geno Smith, don't turn into Warren Moon all of a sudden. Please, just do me a favor here and stink up the joint like we expect you to. You've been throwing it. Now, Connor, you was making jokes, but Geno Smith is leading the league in interceptions with Tua Tagovailoa. Just in case you were wondering, let's keep the party going here, okay? You got to give to get sometime. You understand what I'm saying? So anyway, I expect that to be a win for your Dallas Cowboys Monday Night Football. We follow that up with Eagles coming here. I'm going to keep it short. You're one spy play away from beating the Eagles on opening night. Why we let Jalen Hurts scramble for 2 TDs, I will never know. He's only one of the top 2-3 rushing quarterbacks in the NFL, and I would probably say he's the best one because of situational running. No, not just being able to run fast or run far, but knowing when to run is what makes you most effective as a quarterback. Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts have the same type of skill set, except for Jalen Hurts is way stronger than Patrick Mahomes. They both know when to tuck the ball and run, and that's what makes them most dangerous. If we put a spy on him on one of those freaking touchdowns, just one, we win the freaking game. We don't got to get into CD and the drops. I don't want to get mad. Let's just move on. I believe your Dallas Cowboys come out of here, AT&T Stadium, 2 wins. Then we have the Chiefs. So we stay home and we play against your Chiefs. Whoever you are, if you're a fan out there of the Chiefs. Can I be honest with y'all? And I'm being so serious when I say this. Number one, you got to realize the history of the Cowboys. We historically don't play well against the Cardinals. We historically don't play well against the Denver Broncos. I said that before both of these games. It's not just that Kyler Murray is such an amazing quarterback. For whatever the reason, when teams with the red jersey with a Cardinal on it come to Dallas or go to Arizona, they don't play well. Your Cowboys don't play well. And the same with the Denver Broncos. We haven't beat the Denver Broncos since 95. It's just how it goes. Okay. I don't know how to explain it. It's like playing, historically, like traveling to the West Coast or something isn't the time zone stuff that, teams don't play well when they travel across the country. It is what it is. So, with that being said, I'm not scared of your Kansas City Chiefs. We play Patrick Mahomes fairly well, if to be honest. I want to say we've beat him once. I'm not sure. I'm not going. Don't crucify me if that's wrong. But we always played them tough. They're not going to blow us out. I can promise you that. I personally think we have a great chance of beating the Kansas City Chiefs. They are not the juggernaut that they have been. You can say what you want, and they've won Super Bowls since Tyreek Hill. But losing a guy that can stretch your defense, that was that type of player, they've been trying to replicate it ever since, and they just can't. I'm not even sure they make the playoffs, let alone if they're going to beat us and it's written in the stars. So being honest, I think we have a greater than 50-50 chance of beating your Chiefs. This is not homerism. This is what I truly believe based off of what I see. I think that December 4th game, don't even show up. Just give the win to the Lions. They're going to beat the living stuffing off of us. It is what it is. So your Cowboys are 3-1 after 4 games after the break. And we can come back here and talk about it because I'm putting this on wax. You feel me? Then you have your Vikings. Your Vikings led by McCarthy, J.J. McCarthy. We're gonna beat the Vikings, bro. We're gonna beat the Vikings. For some reason, we know how to bottle up Jetta. We just do. We know how to bottle him up. Don't ask me how. I don't know. For some reason, we find a way to beat the Vikings. Like, it just is what it is. So I say we're a 4-1 after 5 games after the bye week. The Chargers. This is a tough game. This is a tough game only because that's a tricky team, right? We always play them tough. They always play us tough, however you want to look at it. I believe that the pass rush has a crazy day that day, and we come away with another win. So I have us at what at that point? Is that 4-1? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-1 with the lowly Commanders, with us going to them. 6-1. I don't care if Jalen's back. That's 6-1. And then we have the Giants. 7-1. I'm not pleased. Somebody's gonna accuse me of being a homer, and I could understand why. But you would only believe that though if you think that the Chiefs are some juggernaut, or if you think that the Chargers are somebody. They don't even look like the team that beat the Chiefs at the beginning of the season in Rio de Janeiro or whatever they were playing at over there. The Cowboys have a great chance, to his point, of being a sleeper team at 7-1, of being able to slide into the playoffs at 10-6-1 at that point. Now, let me get to these comments, but y'all tell me what you think. 11 teams worse than the Cowboys. Okay. Can you name those 11 teams? Name those 11 teams. Nope. 2048. Cowboys can't even tank. I mean, I've just got to the point where the only way we can is if Dak goes down or something, and I ain't rooting for my quarterback to get hurt. It just is what it is. I disagree with you right there, Conman. Connor said if the Cowboys were to make the playoffs, they wouldn't be Super Bowl contenders. Why not at that point? You just got to get into the dance. That's where I got to disagree with you. You just got to get in. Yeah, you just got to get in, man. I don't. Anybody can catch fire, man, once you make it to the playoffs. That's my thought process. You know what I'm saying? I believe that the Cowboys get in, especially if they get in like going 7-1. Maybe you lose to let's say you You lose to the Chiefs, but you beat the Lions. I don't know. That's me though. I think if you get in, you got a chance. You can't never assume. You know what I'm saying? He said, I see the Cowboys doing some Washington magic. Their wide receiver, when it comes to stuff on the line, will be brutal for teams. I do agree. But the only thing about that is, can you keep Dak's jersey clean to be able to hit Pickens down the field or hit CD on a crosser? Because I ain't gonna lie, I probably would give it to the Bengals. They have the more dangerous wide receiving core, because I don't want to see what this team looks like without Dak. I'm sorry. And it's not because I think Dak is so amazing. It's just this team sucks with him sometimes. Why do I want to see what they look like without him? And that team can still put up 40 with freaking Joe Flacco, who got traded from the Cleveland Browns. I'm just saying, but our wide receiving core, that's 1A, 1B for sure. I just need guys, mainly CD Lamb, to catch the ball. And I need you to target George Pickens, because I can argue that he's probably more of an overall better receiver than CD Lamb. That's just what I believe. Green Bay has to lose for Dallas to make the playoffs. Why would that be true? Why is that true? And I'm not saying that may actually be a mathematical thing, but you're talking about anything outside of us winning the division, clearly. And if that's the case, they just lost to the Eagles. So cool. I believe that if we end up in a 10-6 tie or a 9-7-1 tie or whatever with the Green Bay Packers, I'm trying to see how they would do the tiebreaker, but I think you just win as many games as you can, and then you let the rest figure itself out. What's good, big bro? How you? Hoodie in the building. What's good, man? Man, everything cool, dog. We on here. We talked Nico Harrison, Dallas Mavericks, GM being fired the other day. I think it was a farce. It was a coup. GMs don't fire. I mean, owners don't fire GMs because fan bases are restless. Like, knock it off. Are they not buying tickets? I don't want to hear it. But anyway, so yeah, we've been talking Cowboys, man. Tell me what you believe the possibility of them making the playoffs are at this point. Can you give me a breakdown of what their record can be? Because I just got done doing that myself. I don't know how much of that you actually saw. AJ Brown to the Patriots is going to be a cool villain arc. Oh, you saying season's over with, he gets traded to the Patriots? He said, yeah, laugh out loud. He said, if anyone here is going to throw anything in their lives and you need someone to talk to, don't hesitate to ask for help. Oh yeah, you watch from the beginning. Absolutely, man. And one more time for anybody, man, listen, rest in peace to Marshawn Nealon. This is Men's Mental Healthness Month, so I go talk to somebody. And you could always you can email me, bruh, whatever you need to do. I'm here. I invite anybody out who's in the Metroplex. I will be at 2300 Matlock Road. It's the Vault Seafood and Steakhouse this Sunday at 5:45. I have the Mind of a Man think tank, a nonprofit organization that I have where we sit. It's a community for men, essentially. And so I invite anybody out. If you can watch the games or whatever, it's food there, cigars, whatever. So yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that. Kind of says, I feel so bad for the Giants, even though they are a New York team. I don't care. Thank you. And listen, the game I was playing against Neighbors when he got hurt, and so he ended up with like 4 points or something. I'm not cheering for injuries. You get what I'm saying? And I wish he could. I ain't gonna lie. You get him as a Cowboy, you talking curtains. There's nothing you can do about it. Kona says the Jets curse will end when they finally claim New Jersey. Yeah. Hey man, it's weird over there because half the New Jersey people are Philly fans too. I just found that out from somebody. It's like you got Jersey, New York, and Washington are all like, so Jersey, Jets, Washington, Eagles They're not that far from each other. And then in the midst of all of that, y'all still got crazy Cowboy fans up there. So, it is. He says they going to New Jersey. Probably not. And I think that's his point. All right. Hoodie with Kush 81 said Dak never led the league in fumbles. He didn't even lead the league in INTs. He had 2 seasons over 10 INTs. Listen, and I know I didn't dealt with you before in here. I didn't was dealing with you. You was arguing with Dak Delusional. Hey, my brother, cool if that's what you say. I ain't finna argue with you though. I was pretty sure that he did lead the league in fumbles one year. I can't remember what year that was. Whatever year that was, he had threw a pick six that in one of those games too against the Eagles. That was like a couple years ago. Where I believe that he led the league in fumbles. But I ain't gonna argue with you, my brother. We on the same side here. I just want to be clear when I'm telling you that, because y'all be going at it a little too much in here against each other. I'll be like, man, we on the same team, dog. We rooting for the same team. He said, I love Emeka Ibuka. Is just amazing. Rookie of the year contender. And answer me this, Connor. When did he get drafted? When did he get drafted? What round and all of that? Because did we have a chance? Did the Cowboys get a chance to draft Ibuka? Because I'm like, that dude was a freaking monster, bro. He said, all you got to do is get there. After that, it's a different game. I agree. You're talking about the playoffs, I'm sure. Yeah. All you got to do is get in, dog. We just trying to make it in. You feel me? Kind of said, request in pace, Marshawn Nealon. Rest in peace. My bad. You was typing a little fast. You gotta slow down now. Gave everyone sounded crazy. Yeah, rest in peace, Marshawn Nealon, for sure. He said, and no argument. Yeah, no argument. No, I was just making sure. Yeah. Okay, I was just making sure. I'm like, brother, we on the same team. We good here, man. You know what I'm saying? Y'all was getting a little aggressive last time. It was entertaining, but I'm like, hey, now we all supposed to be Cowboy fans in here. No argument, laugh out loud. We just talking, laugh out loud. Cool. And then he said, Emeka got drafted first round. Yeah, but I'm like, was it towards the end? Because I know they made the playoffs last year. So that means that the Cowboys would have had to have passed on him. That dude was a beast. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember him tearing it up. So anyway, man, let's see. It say Ibuka was drafted between 14 and 20. Okay, cool. And I ain't gonna lie to you, I don't even remember where we drafted last year. It is what it is. But so for my Cowboys fans, let me know what you're thinking. Hoodie, what are you thinking about the rest of this season? Because as I was saying before the chat started kind of getting a little rambunctious, started jumping a little crazy, is I'm looking at the defense. I'm seeing Ravel, I'm seeing Carson on the outside, and I'm seeing Deron Bland on at the slot, right? We got Demario Overshown, we got Logan Wilson, we got Shamar James, and then we got Ezra Raku, we got Kenny Clark, we got Quinnen Williams, we got Jadeveon Clowney, and then on the back end, Quadre Diggs just recently asked to be released from the Titans, drafted in 2015, 6th-round pick, been in the league for a little over 10 years now, or 10 years at this point. Could we pick him up? Should we pick him up? You got Donovan Wilson. You got Malik Hooker. Neither one of those guys are great safeties. I don't care what nobody say. I agree to disagree respectfully. Those guys aren't great safeties. They're just the best that we have. If I could actually have a guy like Quadre Diggs playing a safety position, and then have Malik Hooker and Donovan Wilson kind of playing, relieving one another, like as pretty much crash test dummies on receivers and running backs, I don't know, man. I think this defense can actually really be formidable. And I seen some stuff that was that was alluding to what we could do in the draft. We might be ready. We might be ready. This year might be too late, but next year. Oh, but next year. We might be cooking with fish grease. Rest in peace is the original term for rest in peace. Comes from Latin. Oh, requiescat in pace. Okay, you just taught me something, dog. I appreciate that. That dude be on one. I can't stand delusional takes. Yeah, but y'all be talking crazy to each other, dog. He really mainly just don't like Dak. He don't really say nothing bad about the Cowboys. He just don't like Dak at all. We drafted at 12. We wanted McMillan, but the Panthers took him at 8. Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie to you. He looked great against us. He ain't looked that great against everybody else. He don't look bad. He just looked great. He had like 2 touchdowns against us. So I mean, I started him because I didn't believe in our defense, but I wasn't expecting to lose the game either. Listen, bro. And here's another thing too. As we continue on, here's what I want people to start thinking about, right? Now, the Cardinals' loss is unacceptable to me. It's just unacceptable to me. You had that kid from Mississippi or Mississippi State that was his first game playing, and he wreaked havoc on us. But how are we feeling about the Panthers' loss now? They are in contention to make the playoffs. I mean, I'm just saying. All right, let me skip down. Let me see what my boy said. I'm gonna come back up to the other comments. He said, I gotta go to bed. Good night, y'all. Man, hey, my brother Connor, thank you for tuning in, man. I appreciate the subscription, man. Look, I said the subscription. I appreciate you for subscribing to the channel, man. Have an open mind about what you see from the channel, man. I have a lot of good content, man. Stuff centered around manhood, good conversations and all of that, man. But I appreciate you for tapping in with your boy. And he said, tired of Cowboy fan. We still shouldn't have lost to them. I agree, bro. I agree so much, bro. It really bothers me, bro, that we like Rico Dowdle ran for 200 against us too. Like, that's my genuine response is like, wait, he did it to us too? He told us, what did he tell us? Strap up or something? What did he tell us, bro? And then he proceeded to show us that we like, bruh, that's disrespect at its highest order. At its highest order, bruh. All right, let me go back up because I skipped over some stuff. I want to tap in with the new subscriber, man. My boy Hoodie said, with the 2 trades, we are instantly better than we were, for sure. Not crazy better, but better than we are. We just have to see. So we are crazy better at defensive tackle. At linebacker, we just better. But my argument is when you add in Overshown and Logan, and Shamar has still been balling. Shamar James still been balling. It's definitely better, man. It's definitely better. But I'm like, man, you got 2 first-round picks. Get you a stud with one, trade the other one back, get you a couple second rounders or something like that, or a second and a third. Bro, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you, like, it take Jerry to really feel like he about to face death for us to go ahead and start being relevant. And then Hoodie said, Agent Zero coming back is huge. I like to see what Ravel has, and remember, it's not just on the players. Eberflus got to get his head out of his cheeks. I agree 1,000%. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's funny, but I agree 1,000%. I'm like, bruh, what is going on, dog? Eberflus, fix it now. Yeah, I agree with you, dog. Jeremiah said Jeremiah Smith is gonna be a god when he gets to the NFL. I don't know who that is. Is that the quarterback? And then he said, I'll definitely pop in other lives. I appreciate you, my guy. He said, it's still a bad loss just because of the other NFC losses. Bro, I'm like, bro, I mean, bro, I don't even want to. See, this is the thing that the Cowboys do that upset you, because it's like, now we got to be like, if you just wouldn't have lost this one game, or if you would have just did what you were supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what they do, bruh. All right. He said, how often do you stream on YouTube? So presently, I've streamed 3 times a week live. But this week was different because work was super, super, super crazy, and I just didn't have nothing left. I'm sorry. So usually I do my sports show on Monday. You're gonna get these sports on Monday. I do church flow on Wednesday, and I do the late night shift live on Friday. So whenever I get the studio fully cracking, the interview platform will be on probably Tuesdays, and then the Mind of a Man will be on Thursdays. But those will be pre-recorded. So presently streaming 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. For those of you who are wondering how often I stream, I appreciate you, my guy. Hoodie said, buckle up. And then he said, there's no way everybody just got bad at the same time on this defense. Coaching matters. I agree, but so you mean it's like they're also professionals though? Like, yeah, but okay, so let me say this. Did Dan Quinn do the best job of putting makeup on a pig is the question. Because what? Because if that's the case, based off of that logic, hear me out, based on that logic, you would basically expect for Quinnen Williams to underperform if it's about coaching, right? I'm like, yeah, but that kid's gonna ball no matter where you put him. Some of these guys just aren't smart enough. Like I've recently, literally, bro, within the last 2 weeks, I've been watching a lot of the podcasts that come out of Frisco, for the writers and ex players and stuff, and I'm just like, I agree with like Brian Broaddus, man. Like a lot of time, these guys the hole will be clear and they'll take themselves out of the play. Linebacker play was really bad, bro. Really, really bad. And we were just getting pushed around up front. So I think it's twofold. I get what you're saying, but I do think that you just need dog players too. You just need a Ray Lewis. You know what I'm saying? You just need those type of guys. I don't want to just start naming all-time greats or nothing, but it's like, yeah, you need those type of players, man. That's all I'm saying. Then he said Jeremiah Smith is #1 ranked wide receiver in college football. Oh, okay, I got you. He the Buckeye that whooped your Longhorns. All right, you just calm yourself down there, buddy. Nah, I got you. And then Hoodie said scheme matters. Look at Rico Dowdle with us, and then with the Panthers. Well, hold on. You just hold on. I don't disagree. But I'm just saying, like, Rico ball for us too. You know what I'm saying? But I think that he kind of hit some good pockets too. You know what I'm saying? In those games, he ain't running for 200 every game. You know what I'm saying? And he just exposed how bad we are. Our defense is just, before this trade and people getting healthy, just horrible defense. This is one of the most horrible defenses I've seen from the Cowboys. And I seen a team that gave up 40 first downs to the New Orleans Saints. Team is terrible. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, it's coaching, but some of these players just shouldn't be playing corner in the NFL. So, Murray is a liability. Don't worry, because he won't be on the field. You don't got to worry about that no more. Number 59, yeah, he's on the sideline now, buddy. Oh yeah, players' mentality matters. I agree for sure. Yeah. Oh no, Rico Dowdle did BAPL for us, but we never got that out of him, even against bad defenses. Yeah, for sure. Jesus loves you. Amen. He does, and I love him too. I ain't mad at you. Jesus is God. D1. So is this just y'all's name? So I'm on a new platform. I was on Ecamm and now I'm on StreamYard. Is this how this is like? Is that just y'all's names now where it'll do the D1? It'll have that little name, or is that just how y'all create y'all's tags? But it's cool. And then he said ball for us. Yeah, okay, I got you. You gotta help me out sometimes, man. It'd be hard trying to read this stuff. But no, for sure. He Rico did fine. Didn't Rico rush for 1,000 with us though? I feel like Rico Dowdle absolutely rushed for 1,000 yards with us. Am I wrong about that? I ain't gonna lie to you, something was floating around in there. I don't know what that was. I just went with it though. But anyway, say God is good. Amen. All the time, and all the time God is good for sure. Listen now. So listen. 1079. See? So so Rico ran for 1,000 with us now. So we ain't gonna. Now here's the question. Is that offensive line that we had last year worse than what Rico Dowdle has now in Carolina? That's the question. Because like you just said, scheme matters. Scheme matters. So sometimes it's like, man, he had the opportunities. I personally don't think we should have got rid of Rico. I like Rico. You know what I'm saying? But would you rather have Cavante Williams or would you rather have Rico Dowdle? That's the question. Said, but he wouldn't have been a 14,000 yard back with us if the scheme, but he would have been if the scheme was better. Wait, we talking Cowboys? Yes, we are. Yes, we are, my brother. We talking Cowboys. Williams, absolutely. And that's my point, though. I personally think that Cavante Williams is a better back than Rico, in my opinion. Because he gonna apply that pressure, and then he also gonna get loose. He got some deep runs as well. He's not just a bruising back, but that's the type of back that we need. We need a super aggressive, make something happen if the hole ain't there type of backs. And Rico was cool, but he wasn't Javante Williams. I'm sorry. Cavante Turpin, Javante Williams. So he said, use and no. Yes and no. Schemes matter. You may have a bad pass blocking line, but a great one on blocking line. That's a fact. Javante is definitely better than Rico. That's what I'm saying though. So if I got to get rid of Rico to get Javante, I'm not mad at that. You feel me? Now, we just so happen to not run the ball well. And so this is my issue too. I'm glad we're here. This is my issue with Brian, right? That is his name, right? What's our coach name? What's our coach name, bro? And running block. Yes and no and run blocking. Anyway, Brian Schottenheimer. Anyway, here's one of my main issues with him, right? In today's NFL, you do not have to abandon the running game if it's working. If we're down 14, I get it. But we don't have a play that's going to get rid of 14 points right now. I don't care if you throw it from your back of your end zone and they catch it in the back of theirs. We are not going to get 14 points off of that play. At most, we're going to get 8 after we try a 2-point conversion. When we get down, he abandons the run when the run is the biggest part of our identity as an offense. Tell me I'm lying. Javante Williams is the best thing that happened to this offense outside of getting George Pickens, because your tight end was there last year. CeeDee Lamb was there last year. Your quarterback was there last year. Your fullback was there last year. Every receiver was already here. George Pickens and Javante Williams are the 2 upgrades to this offense that make it a problem. And Javante hits the hole with aggression. Period. So we got to stop abandoning the run, because we can also get large chunk plays off of runs as well. And it tires down the defense, and it takes the air out of the ball for a defense that hasn't shown that it can consistently stop people on offense. So we gotta 14-10. We gotta keep running the ball. And if they make Dak Prescott run dimensional, then I still feel confident because we have a litany of options on offense. Brian Schottenheimer, thank you, my brother. He will abandon the run. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, and has the NFL already figured him out? Bro, we were putting up 40, like waking up and stretching your arms in the morning. Like the sun rising in the east, sets in the west. We was putting up 40. But for some reason, this offense is really stagnant. How do we go? Put it like this. I don't care if it was against a decrepit Jets team or anything. How do we go from having 4 backup linemen in and the ball is shooting out to we barely, that can't barely get the ball off against the Denver Broncos. That can't barely get the ball off against the Carolina Panthers. That can't barely get the ball off against the Arizona Cardinals. It doesn't make sense to me. Like, we got to figure that out, man. He said, I can't fight that one. Man, I just be trying to keep it a bean. I ain't, I don't know everything, but I know a little bit. And that dude will abandon the run. I'm like, bro, make it easy on us. Now, mind you, we didn't give up 40 to some of those teams. Where is it? Let me go back. Oh, I Google searched that. Let me see. So, of course, we gave up 40 to the Broncos. We didn't give up 40 to the Commanders, the Panthers. We didn't give up 40 to the Panthers, the Commanders, or the Cardinals. But, of course, we gave up 40 to the Broncos. We gave up 40 to the Packers, which shouldn't have been because we should have freaking scored in overtime. That's a whole nother story. We almost gave up 40 to the Giants. Yeah, bro. Anyway. My point, though, is like the Chiefs, the Lions, the Chargers, maybe. Chiefs, Lions, Chargers, maybe Vikings pose the greatest threat on offense for us. So, and I listen to Nate Newton say that it's going to take time, right? But I'm like, what's going to take time about rushing the quarterback? It's not going to take time to rush the quarterback. Now, gelling together as a total defense to communicate, to make sure that you trust your player to be at certain spots, all that type of stuff. I get that. Why it didn't take that long for George Pickens? Like, I ain't gonna lie, it took a couple games because Dak was overthrowing them and stuff like that. Then they found their groove. On defense, though, it's a lot simpler. See ball, hit ball. You get what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man. I'm kind of. Peter Bridges said, bro, why are you so worthless? You know what, bro? It's a good question. And we're going to block you. Because you're clearly an idiot. And I don't know what your point is, but I'm going to go cry in a corner. No, thanks. Now, if you want to make a burner account and try to come back, that's on you. People are losers. People are losers in 2025. I'm like, Peter, I don't know you, buddy. Anyway. So listen, guys, what else do we got here? Do we have any final guess about how the season's going to go? I made my case for 7-1. I didn't give a super drawn, long out speech on anything, but I do believe that your Cowboys have the potential to go 7-1 down the stretch and possibly make the playoffs, where if we get into the tournament, everybody starts at 0-0. I don't care if it's home field advantage because somebody won more games. It's my team against your team once we get to the playoffs. So that's my question. What are you guys feeling about the ending of the season? Do you think the Cowboys actually have a genuine chance to make it? For all of those who have been sticking around and been watching, I thank you for sticking and staying. For those who subscribed and hit the like button, I love you from the bottom of my corazón. I appreciate you like none other. Please tune in for the rest of the week as we bring you other lives. We don't just talk sports here, but this is a network. We seek to bring quality content from multiple perspectives. And I appreciate you guys for coming along on the journey with me. Listen, I'll be honest with you. This was a pleasure for me. I appreciate it anytime that we could use things like sports to bridge the gap between different people. I don't know what Peter Bridges was on. I pray that he knows that the Lord loves him and he needs some help, because why are you such an evil person? But anyway, listen, man, we don't got nobody else saying nothing in the comments, man. The only way that I would keep it going is if we had some other comments. We don't seem to have any other. I appreciate you guys. Make sure you hit the like. Make sure you tell a friend to tune into the Mind of a Man Network. We come to you weekly with different things that will give you something to think about, give you something to debate about at the water cooler. Man, as I end every show, life is hard enough, so please don't just live, but live elevated. Until next time, I love you. May the Lord keep you. I'll see you next week. More importantly, I'll see you at the conference. Till next time. Peace.